Heard with Colin Cowherd on ESPN Radio.
ESPNradio.com.
It's the Herd on ESPN Radio, wherever you may be. And however you may be listening, thanks for making us part of your day. Simulcast on ESPN, all of our guests like Oral Hershiser in 15 minutes via the Subway Fresh Take hotline. And the Herd brought to you by Progressive Insurance. I don't know why I thought this story was so fascinating. Would you be fired in America? Now think about this. Don't let your emotion and your politics get in the way of this. I think it would be very difficult to fire somebody in America if they tweeted and it was rational and they gave reasons. I think we should decriminalize, like Canada, I think we should decriminalize marijuana. Now, we do have some marijuana usage in America. It's called medicinal marijuana. It's bigger in California than most states. But you wouldn't really be fired for that. We're a reasonable country, right? I mean, your boss may say, if you're a public figure, I'm not sure I love that, but I think if you fired somebody for that in America, you'd have a good lawsuit if you were the one that got fired for just saying, yeah, I kind of disagree with American policy on that. Yet Canada, they're so much smarter than us. Canada fired a sportscaster, Damian Goddard, because he tweeted, I believe in my religion. I believe what most of the world does. I don't believe in same-sex marriage. Now, they fired him for that. There was no slur. There was no hate. There was no bigotry. Damien Goddard was fired from Rogers Sportsnet for simply agreeing with an agent who disagreed with Sean Avery. Now, let me just set the table for you. Sean Avery's the player. Sean Avery, the player, said, let anybody get married. Todd Reynolds is the agent who went and tweeted, I disagree. This guy is just a sportscaster who took the agent's side and says, yeah, I sort of agree with him there. You're out of here. I always knew Twitter wasn't for me. And I always thought it was confusing. What can you say and what not can you say? But you can now be fired for no bigotry, no hate. Listen, it doesn't matter. This is not a same-sex radio. I don't care about your stance on that. But remember, only 10 countries in the world allow same-sex marriage. The overwhelming part of the world, the law is, no, can't do it. Now, I may disagree, but that's the world. Bibles and people of religious faith overwhelmingly lean toward you can't do it. And all the guy did, a sportscaster, is say, yeah, I agree with that. You are out of here. I mean, it's really funny. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but we have really gotten PC, have we not? Now, you just can't disagree with your government's laws as a public figure. Because this really comes down to something very simple. In America, pot use is illegal. Would you be fired for just saying, I believe we should decriminalize pot? In Canada, same-sex marriage is allowed, and the guy's fired for just saying, I disagree with my government. That's sort of freedom of speech, is it not? I mean, freedom of speech has always been about what I can say opposed to my government. It's not about what you can say on radio and TV. If I'm that guy, if I'm Damien Goddard, I got myself a lawsuit. Freedom of speech protects you from your government. Maybe you should move here. I know Canada doesn't have freedom of speech. Clearly from Damien Goddard's case. It's amazing. But, if I came out and I said, and by the way, when Todd Reynolds, the agent, came out, there were no slurs. I'll read you his tweets. He said, I'm sad to read that Sean Avery's misguided support of same-gender marriage. Legal or not, it'll always be wrong. No hate there. He said, but I believe in the sanctity of marriage between man and woman. It's my personal viewpoint. I don't hate anybody. He later went on and said, this is not hatred or bigotry. It's not intolerance of any way, shape, or form. I believe we're all equal. I found it fascinating. That if I went out and said I drink and support champagne only from the Champagne region of France, the true champagne, I'm not hating sparkling wine. I just strongly believe in the Champagne region of France, and that's what I believe to be champagne. It's not hate if you oppose something, especially if what you oppose in a majority of the world is seen as law. Folks, in America, senators and governors run on campaigns opposing same-sex marriage. We have people in the White House who have opposed it. Yeah, I think it's like the first question asked of all politicians, and it's about 50-50 in the country. Incredible. But again, some suit in Canada took time away from smoking his skinny cigarettes and watching hockey to fire this guy. So, none of us like suits. One of those Canadian suits up there was like, smoking a skinny cigarette, watching hockey. The tweet is no regard for compassion and empathy. Monsieur, you are fired from your lousy sportscasting job. It's amazing. It really is. And I don't care where anybody stands on same-sex marriage. I'm not overly religious. If you love somebody, marry them. I don't care. I mean, the way I look at it, everybody has a right to be miserable. Go get married. Honey, I'm kidding. God, what happened to the sense of humor? I mean, listen. I'm a straight dude. We've all been miserable. Everybody has the right to be miserable. Go for it. I don't care. Email the 1-800-Flowers.com inbox, the Herd, H-E-R-D, at ESPNradio.com. I got to tell you something. I know I'm not right for Twitter. I officially know I'm not right for Twitter. You can't tell sarcasm. I can't even now agree with most of the world's laws.